Where are we headed?
Yes, you caught me ruminating again. Guilty as charged. What's occupied?
Smells like grease and unwashed bodies.
That's not the point. This halfwit just knocked out one of my workers.
Yeah, with a tossball stick. I heard you the first time. There weren't any witnesses.
No witnesses. He's not even denying it.
Jackass had it coming.
Shut it, Felix. You're not making this any better.
You get cute with me again, you little Back Bay brat, I will toss you out an airlock.
This is the Groundbreaker, not Byzantium. You ain't the law here. I am. Now move up.
Now's not a good time. I'm dealing...
So, go space yourself. Problem solved.
You must really want a truncheon through your teeth. Do what you want. I'm done here.
Whatever you heard? I had this foreman, right? Guy never liked me, always trying to get a rise out of me. But I keep my chin up, right? Be the bigger man, I tell myself. He's a Spacer's chosen man, though. So when the Chosen beat my Rangers the other night, my foreman comes swaggering up with his head full of boasting. That's when I broadsided him with a Look, this was a long time coming. Guy thinks he can push me around because he's some sky-high foreman, and I'm just a Back Bay's dock worker. Well, former dock worker. Enjoy my freedom. Scrounged together enough bits for a 0G. Other than that, can't... Hey, not for nothing. But I saw you wander out of that ship over there by the dock. Captain of the Unreliable. Hey, I don't want to talk your ears off, guessing you got places to be. I appreciate your time. Felix Millstone. See you around. Going for a stroll around the docking base?
Do you mind? I'm trying to file a report. Hey! I saw that! What do you think you're doing? Just don't make more paperwork for me, alright?
Move along.
Customs and inspection, right this way.
Identification, please. You've got a ship, but you've never visited Groundbreaker. You must have just dusted...
Sure did. And now we're in space.
Well, welcome to Groundbreaker. I'm sorry to tell you this, but... According to your ship's record, you've been flagged by the board. Your ship will be impounded until such a...
Well, isn't this wonderful? The captain's done something to get on the board's...
Now, hold on. This isn't the end of the world. Probably. You'll want to take it up with Udom Bedford. His office is located along the starboard wall of the promenade. Shines like a Byzantium commode. You can't miss it. Access to that information is above my pay grade, and I've turned down 3 promotions, so it stays that way. I shouldn't be mentioning it, but what the hell? This here, impounding your ship, it doesn't happen much. The board knows we don't take kindly to their interfering in our operations. If I had to take a guess as to why, you must have riled up someone important. You take the starch out of him, well, you won't hear any complaints from me. Oh, and if you're headed that way, would you mind? Wanda Dorset over in sickbay? Tell her the shipment's not in yet. It's not coming in anytime soon, and if she'd be so obliged to get off my ass about it. A handful of SAM cleaning units retrofitted for surgery. I don't know much else. I stopped listening. Is there anything else I can... The fence. You'll find her in the rest and go, on your left when you enter the promenade. Make sure you bring an empty belly. Maybe. Most of the shipping traffic in the system passes through Groundbreaker. Every couple of months, we even get... Two biggest operations are the board. That is, Halcyon Holdings and Sublight Salvage. But there are independent operators around the prom. Most of those jobs are going to take you off. Are you pulling my leg? You must be one of them long-haul freighters from outside the colony. Well, I won't. Goes like this. Back on Earth, before the crossing, the powers that be were selling off stakes in distant star systems they thought had... A bunch of companies decided to throw in together and form the Halcyon Holdings Corporation, then buy up the rights to this here colony. Yep, Groundbreaker's the only real independent port. Aside from us, there's just tramp freighters and what... Seems like every year the board's offices get bigger and their ships take up more of the landing base. Haven't seen nearly as many tramp crews this year. Groundbreaker was one of the original colony vessels to come over on the crossing, a few years before her sister ship. Once everybody'd been de-thawed and dropped dirtside, the original crew of the Groundbreaker decided they rather liked it. I guess that was the start of our independent spirit. Now, here we... Sitting around drinking whiskey and smoking cigars, yeah, probably. Can't say for sure, of course. Doubt I'll ever see the inside of it myself. Glad to help. Commandant Sanita might have a couple of folks she needs killed. Bad folks, I mean. Not regular folks. She'll be at the security desk behind me. Chief Junlei might have an errand needs running. She's all tied up trying to fix our heat problem. You'll find her in engineering.
No kidding? I'd love to get a look at this old girl's innards. I bet they're real twisty and weird.
Happy to help. That's my job, after all. Well, thank you, miss. It's nice to be recognized.
Can we move this along? I have a certain, matter.
They strip the parts from derelict ships and abandoned outposts. There's some that say they make the derelicts and encourage folks to abandon. Sublight gives me the creeps. I've known folks who went to work for them and just vanished. They're on the promenade run by a woman named Lilia Hagen. I'm only telling you so you know to... Relative to the board holdings? Not really. But there's a few with the means to go where they will. They aren't rich, but they aren't likely to look too close at your work history either. All right. Most places are on the promenade deck. Big door yonder, straight through security. There's a bar on the starboard side. I got a preference for the Lost Hope myself. Talk to Vera. You need anything else? You let me... He's friendly enough unless you speak ill of the board. Get the sense he doesn't care for Groundbreaker much. Not that he would, being a board man and all. He's our liaison. They can't abide an independent township, especially not one they gotta depend on. We're the first and last stop out of this. All their interstellar freighters come through us, and we skim a few bits off the top and manifest processing fees with every... Folks around here will bluster that the board hates our freedom, but really, they know we can stop their out-system shipments any... It's a delicate balance, right? We could cancel their freighters' docking privileges in retaliation, but where'd that lead us? They got assault cruisers, gunships, and a handful of mining op. We push them too hard, maybe they decide we'd be better in 10 trillion little pieces. Or they cobble together a new Groundbreaker.
The board wouldn't do that.
The board is necessary to provide order to the colony. They believe it's their prerogative to overrun you. But whether you allow that is up to you.
It's a tough line to walk, no doubt about that. But we make do all right. Sure thing. Be seeing you.
As always, I am anything you'd... Yes, well, now that we're here, can we check in with security? I'd like to... So, tell me what's on your... But, nothing. Yeah? Will do, Captain. I'll keep an eye on her.
I picked up this weird signal the other day. It was coming from Monarch.
Here we go again. No one lives on Monarch. It's a wasteland. You were hearing things.
No, seriously. There was a lot of static at first, but then this voice said his name was Graham?
Graham, right. Broadcasting on a dead world full of monsters. Now I've heard everything.
You know, it takes more muscles to frown than to smile.
Who told you that? Graham?
Asshole. You ever hard up for work? Try Sublight Salvage. Good pay if you're morally flexible.
This is Halcyon News. We interrupt your regularly scheduled advertisement for the following story. The board would like to remind spacers and other travelers that passage to Monarch is restricted for your protection. Canyons of acid and sulfur rain are the least of the horrors plaguing the surface of Monarch. Anarchists live as one with the animals, lawless, savage, and unemployed. The board's embargo ensures that nothing can leave the planet and threaten our hardworking citizens. This has been Halcyon News, your only source for news in the Halcyon colony.
Rizzo's mock apple cider. A hard cider for a Rizzo's lemon, Rizzo's purple berry punch. You want a punch? We've got your punch right here.
Ooh, you ain't renting upstairs room?
Bless my heart. A stranger come knocking on a poor old woman's door. You here for a particular reason? Or did the neighbors tell you how good my sugar cookies are? Made without a single natural ingredient, or an oven. Just like store-bought. Those have been the height of illegality since Stellar Bay turned their noses up at the board. You and I could be thrown to the void just for discussing such a transaction. Lucky for us, Groundbreaker's a free port. We're outside of the board's control. For the time being, at least. Now, I only have the one nav key. And they're hard to come by these days. It won't be cheap. If you find yourself lacking in the bits, I might have an opportunity you'd be interested in. Phineas, that old kook. He was quite the dancer back in his prime, did he tell you? Real light on his feet. Real light on the wallet, too. He still owes me a small fortune. Laws. Maybe I should charge you double. Well, I find I'm in need of a ship captain with a little moral flexibility. Might be this could help out the Groundbreaker, as well as earn some bits. But if you've got qualms... Might want to acquaint yourself with Junlei Tennyson, Groundbreaker's chief. She's been trying to get a handle on this heat problem we've got. You'll find her fretting in engineering. I'd say she's a sweet girl, but law forfend someone call me a liar. What do you want, then? My hard-earned wisdom? That's right, dearie. The only independent station in the though for how long, I can't. The board can't abide a community that won't bend to its will. They've always got one scheme or another running, looking for ways to bring us to heel. Like this heat business. Shameful. But it won't work. No, sir. Groundbreaker's free till the day Go right ahead. Groundbreaker's radiators. Been neither fine nor damp. Miss Junlei's supposed to be getting them fixed, but the board's determined. The board can't abide a community that won't bend to its will. They've always got one scheme or another running, looking for ways to bring us to heel. But it won't work. No, Oh, a little of this, a little of that. I buy and sell items that require discretion. I also knit throw pillows stuffed with the hair of famous tossball players. But that's more of a passion project.
I'm not sure that's entirely legal.
That's half the reason I make them, my dear. But that's not what you wanted to talk about, is it, dear? Ask the common folk, and they'll tell you it's on account of all the monsters on Monarch desperate to gobble you up. Because that's what the board tells them. I think they made some fool mistake that would make them look bad to the rest of the colony, and they're trying to hide the evidence. Those board folk are real prideful-like. Never want you looking behind the curtain, lest you see their dairy. But old Gladys knows the score. The whole colony's not much more than a diorama, showcasing one board. That's why we gotta keep them from getting their grubby mitts on Groundbreaker. She's our man. Probably. Every once in a while, we get these snippets of radio chatter. Edna shows them to me. Some man hooting and hollering about the... Claims he's transmitting from Monarch, but who knows if that's true. Might be true. Anytime, sweetheart. You know where to find me. Gracious. I was just sitting down for tea. Want a Great Lord! Anytime. It's almost time for today. Anytime, sweet. If you're here... Yes, dearie? Anytime. Gracious. Yes. Ain't that just a treat? So, you know Edna, over in engineering? On occasion, she'll pass along. She sent me a recording of a distress signal she'd scraped from the Groundbreaker's comm array. Curious thing is, it came from an outpost called Roseway. Can't say I know for sure. Maybe it...
Comm centers don't operate themselves, Captain. Someone had to have sent that distress...
Those corps are cleverer than all get out. Might have been a ruse to keep the rest of the board from snip... You've got an ear for intrigue and a nose for bits. I like that. If you should find a secret worth selling, might be I could find a buyer. Corporate bigwigs will pay top... The more we got the corps fighting each other. That handsome Bertie Holcomb's hair isn't exactly free after... Bertie the Black Hole Holcomb. Handsomest young man to come out of the tossball leagues, and goodness.
I wonder if he's kin. Dad had family that worked for Rizzo's. I never got to meet them.
Don't forget to come find old Gladys when you're done. Anytime. Great law, is it hot in here? Or is it just my glands act... Anytime, sweetheart.
Are you listening to me, Emperor?
Assholes and their big interstellar freighters. Wouldn't be able to grab me on the way in.
Go back to Byzantium, you gold-plated bastards.
Yeah, no one wants you on Groundbreaker.
These stairs are board property. Disperse now, or I'll detain you for trespassing.
Oh, real scary. You're really gonna arrest us on our station?
Yeah, this is Chief Junlei's ship. You don't own shit here.
Step back. I'm required by board bylaws to use excessive force.
The Mardettes would space you for trying, you waste of O2 scrubbers.
Yeah, O2 scrubbers.
Look, just get out of here before I tell your captain what you've been getting up to on the clock.
Ah, whatever. We got a date at the Lost Hope anyway.
Is this really what you want to be doing with your life, Marcy? Guarding stairs for that walking mustache Udon fucking Bedford? I gotta get off this detail. I'm just gonna hang in the back and try not to touch anything.
We interrupt your regularly scheduled advertisement for the following story.
Ah, yes. Wheeler messaged me you were coming. He must be the captain of the Unreliable, a vessel that used to be helmed by one Alex Hawthorne. Has something happened to my favorite scruffy freelance? Oh no, this is terrible. My dear friend, what devilry... Oh, Alex. He was my dearest friend. You have his ship, you must know. That picture of us on the promenade, me hugging him, him wincing. I keep a copy beside my bed. Did he? It must have been lost with Alex, then. Tell me. Oh. Awful business, that. But why? How? Right. You're going important places, I'm sure. Big, exciting... There, I've removed the flag from your ship. I'm terribly sorry for the inconvenience. However, before you go... Alex promised to tell me the location of Phineas Wells. I'm sure you've seen his wanted posters all over the colony. Did Alex tell you where Wells might be? Anything at all? You haven't read the posters? He's a terrorist, a thief, a madman. It's really in the colony's best interest that we stop him before he does further harm. Well, Alex knew, or he said he did. And you have his ship. Maybe he kept some records around, or a conveniently placed note on his bedside table. That's... well, that's just terrible news. Law, what am I going to do now? The board will have my head. Oh, I'm sorry. This is terribly unprofessional of me. Is there anything else I might help you with? It's personal business, I'm afraid. Miserably, terribly personal. Information on the whereabouts of Phineas Wells would go a long way. It's... well... it's fine, really. It's... Now, if you've nothing else, please see yourself out. Be my... I'm the certified representative of the board's interests here on the Groundbreaker. I'm their eyes, ears, and busy little... I have few complaints.
Law, but it's miserable. My underarms are damp. How can I be expected to work in these... Chief Tennyson is supposedly looking into the cause, but I've seen no deplorable conduct. My superiors will be hearing about it. You can be certain of that. Oh, you've noticed my friends. Wonderful. They're here to keep the peace, of course. Precisely. Groundbreaker makes much ado about its independent status and so resents any board presence, no matter how. When the alternative is board guards at their gates, yes, I do. They don't see it that way, of course. A luxury stateroom, reserved. To serve at our most esteemed chairman's behest is an honor. As this office is the primary embassy for the board on Groundbreaker, corporate bylaws specifically state a room must be maintained for the chairman. Oh, good law! Who'd want to go to that toxic hell pit? No. Emphatically no. Unequivocally. Best to be clear, I... Ask... What?
I'm sorry? I'm quite certain I heard Wells. Phineas Wells.
But you...
It's always like... well, once you've tired of your job... How do you do?
Yeah, huh?
Have you seen this man? Reward offered for information leading to the capture of noted terrorist Phineas Wells. Report any sightings to your local board embassy. Hearty greeting, potential customer. Welcome to this unit display. This unit would clarify. There is a dead mechanic in the kitchen. User error in the maintenance of this unit's cutlery engaged several systems. This unit behaves precisely as it was engineered. Neither this unit nor its corporate proprietor. This unit is not designated for cleaning duties and cannot be compelled to accept. Beginning dispensing sequence. Please unblock all relevant facial.
Who the... Hey, McRed, were you expecting any company?
A neighbor from above approaches our realm. Back away now, or you'll parley with the king. Look at this ripe piece of meat just sizzling on the... Time to feed the flames. It's nothing personal.
Is this what carbon monoxide poisoning looks like? I don't think this deck is too well ventilated.
You came with the crew. Welcome. We got plenty of space to spread out, but only room... You stumbled into my court without an invitation, neighbor from above. If you don't... No one turns their back on me while I'm holding court.
Incoming!
Junlei Tennyson. I'm captain around here, but chief to my friends. Hope you don't mind the formal introduction. Groundbreaker doesn't seem any... No, it isn't. It's a mess. But it's my mess, so I'll take... Just so we understand each other, I'm the final word on the ship. The Mardits, the crew, the engineers, their family. I hope there won't be any problem. Good. Don't go making trouble, and chances are you won't find any. So what brings you to Groundbreaker? I'm curious, even though 9 times out of 10 the answer's just passing through. Interesting. The powers that be paint an ugly picture of Monarch. Critters and such. Maybe someone in the promenade can get you the right weapon for the job. We see a lot of the same faces coming and going. Most of them board spies and corporate sprats. Makes it hard to trust outsiders. You seem different, so welcome aboard.
What? I didn't think you just...
Parvati, is it? That's a lovely name. What can I do for you?
I was just thinking, I haven't got much experience working with actual, real spaceship.
Junlei is fine.
Okay. Since you run a whole space station, I was wondering if... Well, maybe you could teach me some things. I could message you later, maybe?
I'd be happy to make the time, Parvati. You can ask me anything.
Right. Wow, great. I'll do that then. Messages. Later. Oh, your name's pretty too. I should have said... Sorry.
Not a problem, Captain. Groundbreaker's radiators need replacement parts. They're dumping superheated air into... Only the board has access to new parts, and I won't let them... None. Every time I give in to the board, Groundbreaker loses its freedom. Soon there won't be anything left. The board isn't helping and my resources are spread thin. If I don't get those radiators back online, Groundbreaker, everyone aboard? Reasonable, huh? That's the best news I've heard all day. According to my grandmother's old schematics, the parts we need should be in the back bays. I keep diligent records of station repairs, requisitions, and available assets. The station's radiators haven't changed since her time, and her records say the parts should be there. Sorry, I forgot not everyone knows that. The back bays are on a lower deck, long abandoned and a haven for miscreants now. You must not have been here long. In Halcyon, new parts come by way of interstellar freighters from Earth, and the board monopolizes them. That means I'd have to negotiate with the board. I've already given them the shops, the docking fees, and a damn embassy. Damn right. And while I'm captain of the Groundbreaker, those idiots are immune to reason, and they don't much care if the station melts. If you could find some way to solve this without violence, I'd prefer that. But more than anything, I have. One of my engineers, plus a... I can't afford to lose any Mardits on this job. No offense, but a freelancer like you is more dispensable. Mardits are descended from the original Marine detachment that crossed the void with Groundbreaker. I don't put their lives on... Good. Once you've obtained the parts, we can... Frustrating. Everything down to the circuit boards is past warranty, so I have the pleasure of making life or death decisions on a Plus, there's no time to train my successor or document fixes in a way that anyone outside the family... Sure is. The Tennysons came over on the Groundbreaker. My grandmother, Chief Gaying, kept it together during the crossing and until she died.
They must have been amazing people. To have taught you all you know, I mean. Which is...
That means a lot coming from a fellow engineer. It was different knowing that I couldn't turn to anyone who could answer the tough questions for me. Maybe you can see why I'm protective of Groundbreaker. This ship is family. It's got tinkerings and bypasses that only Tennis... I hope that was a joke, Captain. I gelded that thing years ago. Now it brews a stim that goes down stronger than Nan or Spank. You see any bite-sized Tennyson children running around? The next captain won't have my heritage. I'll have to foster that talent from somewhere. It's only a question of...
Oh, gosh. I don't know. I'm really just a dab hand with a wrench. Nothing special. Not like it.
Don't sell yourself short. It doesn't take a seasoned pro to tinker on Groundbreaker. Just someone who knows. We're always thirsting for help. If you could find your way around this labyrinth of ducts and panels, we could work something. You've got... You're right, I don't. The board is after two things, bits and power. I like to think of myself as a nice person, but if that gaudy embassy of his was on fire, I might hold my breath a moment. The board wants control over Groundbreaker, and leeches like Udom Bedford will do anything. I placate them when I have something to offer, but I can also be a real hard-ass. It'd be a joy if I could kick out the corporate merchants and reclaim the docking fees in my life. Too much of Groundbreaker's income is flowing in the wrong direction. I'd like to see... You've got my...
This is Halcyon News. We interrupt your regularly scheduled advertisement for the following...
Are you listening to me, Emperor?
It's almost time for today's episode of The Chairman's Children. Any...
Are you listening to me, Emperor?
CNP, I can't believe it's not forced. It's unbelievable how good it is.
Who there? Hey, McRed, were you expecting any company?
A neighbor from above approaches our realm. Back away now, or you'll parley with the king. Look at this ripe piece of meat just sizzling on the grill. Yum, yum. Time to feed...
Is this what carbon monoxide poisoning looks like? I don't think this deck is too well ventilated.
You came with the crew.
Who the... Hey, McRed, were you expecting any company?
A nigga.
Now go!